much what you expected on opening night. These two teams battling back and forth, great defense on both sides.
Yeah, and I mean, that was the messaging pre-game as well to the players. I mean, that's an NLL game, right? I told them it's going to be close at half, and it's going to come down to the wire, and it typically does. And, Toronto's obviously a strong team. That's a good win for us. I mean, they're much improved. They had a year with injuries and sort of a setback last year, but we knew they were going to bounce back this year. So that's a huge win for us. And, that's get ready, buckle in. Like that's what you see on a weekly basis.
That's a pretty good effort for this crowd, those that haven't seen lacrosse before.
Yeah, no, and I've been saying that in the build-up and the lead-up. It's, we're always going to have lacrosse fans, but the key is to get new fans. And when you put the product out there and you expose them to that type of product, that type of game, they go away going, why wouldn't we watch this? I mean, it's amazing.
You're a Durham region guy.
Mm-hmm.
Were you surprised with the turnout tonight? Like, the building was packed, maybe as full as I've ever seen it.
It was not, no. I mean, obviously we'd been given information as we were moving towards this, but even when we were discussing the move, ownership asked me because they knew I was from the area, and they said, "What do you think about the potential?" And I said, "It's such a hotbed, right? There's so many lacrosse organizations, lacrosse fans, lacrosse people in the area." But I remember when I started with the Rock, a long time ago, 25 years ago, or more than that, 27 years ago. It was the same kind of thing, and we had lacrosse fans, but the key for our league is to build out, new fans, and that's going to do that. That'll have that effect.
Yeah, you have pretty good base on Oshawa, Peterborough, pretty much
surrounding areas, great. Yeah. No, I think this rivalry too, right, with Hamilton and Oshawa, you're gonna gather that belt along the long lake GTA. So I think it's just gonna build hopefully both programs.
What about Dougie's performance? I felt like he was super locked in early, and how have you seen him evolve during the time he's been with you?
Oh man, so we drafted Dougie. He's been I think it's almost 10 years I've had him, 9 years, long time. So he's evolved into that, right? He's evolved into one of the best goalies in the game. It's very comfortable as a coach, a team, an organization when you have a top-tier goaltender. So we know we get that. We know we always have a chance to win with Dougie. But he struggled coming into the league. I mean, his first couple of years, he had to adjust to the NLL like a lot of young goalies do. And he came right out of junior. He wasn't somebody that had come from college or he was a little bit older. So, he stepped in as a 20-year-old or maybe even a 19-year-old and had to learn the NLL game, and that's the byproduct. He's learned it.
And earlier this week, we were talking about Nick being kind of like a sleeper guy. If you know, but he doesn't necessarily get the credit.
Mm-hmm.
That goal he scored.
That was amazing.
I mean, I think it was jaw drop. So
Yeah.
What do you think about his performance here to help you guys get to where you need to be?
I mean, he's just a pillar. So he scores goals like that. He gets loose balls. He's deceptively fast and strong. I actually didn't even, I saw the goal, but I didn't see how good of a goal it was until I saw the film on it, and that's an all-world shot. But he can take any matchup defensively. He can take a size matchup, he can take a speed matchup, he can play on and off ball. So he's an elite defender. He's elite between the lines. He's just, he played for me on Team Canada, and he deserved it. I mean, he's that caliber.
And then lastly for me, a win's a win, and you guys will take it. But anything that you saw that you're like, okay, going forward, I'm going to put that in the back of my head to talk about before next week.
Yeah, and I talked about it with them in there. There's a couple cleanup plays. I didn't like all our loose ball recovery. We were a lot of one-handed. We weren't running through. So, small little area things, individual battles. A couple of misreads defensively. And I'd like to be a little more active offensively. I thought the ball died on one side of the floor too much. So, those are things we constantly talk about, constantly want to work on. And now, you go through the preseason, but you got guys in, you got guys out. Now we have a very good sample size and a reference of some things that we can be very specific on.
Perfect. What's the one thing from tonight that you'll remember when you look back on today?
I just think the reception, the crowd. I mean, it was when you can play in a literally no tickets. I tried to get some from my brother last week. I couldn't even get tickets. And then I tried to get some from my brother-in-law like this week. So when, in other places when I was, the role I have, I could get whatever I want, right? And, now we're in a position where we can, and the building is sold out, and that's ultimately what we all want to get to. So I think it was great. I just think the atmosphere, the engagement, and the product, and that the game is important. I mean, the win is important, but also the one goal win, like all the way down to the wire. I mean, it wasn't one of those 15-9 games where you sort of knew for the fourth quarter what the outcome was. You literally didn't know till the last seconds, right? So I think that's important too. There was nobody leaving the building, that's for sure.
Like going to Halifax, what's the mindset heading in there knowing that they've had a bye week and they're rested up? What's it going to take to beat them to go out east?
Same sort of thing, right? Like it's always two-pronged, right? We focus on what we need to do and what our skills are, and then you try and sort of specify it for some of the problems they present. So, our weeks look pretty similar. We'll look at this game, we'll sort of tape and analyze what we did well, what we need to improve on, and then we'll get as much data as we can from Halifax from preseason games. I mean, it's not a regular season game, so it's not the same, but we have a pretty good idea because their team hasn't really changed that much. They've added Bomberry, but pretty much the same personnel. So we've got a pretty good scout sample size, and that's the game. That'll be the drill during the week.
You said there were some things on offense you didn't like, the defense you did. Just talk about the transition game. What did you think of that tonight?
I didn't love it, to be honest. I thought we had too many turnovers in between the lines, and it was something we talked exclusively about and had it on the game plan. And I think we ran ourselves into trouble at times, and we weren't disciplined enough with our zone entries, especially. So it was something we were adjusting and talking about in real time. We had film on. We talked about it prior to the game. But any of those things, you have an opponent that is trying to accomplish the same thing. So you can never be too hard on yourself when the other team makes a play. Because these are the best players in the world. So you're not going to just be able to dictate the game, right? You've got to adjust and adapt. I thought we did a pretty good job.
Just getting back to Dougie, the fact that he doesn't have the 12-hour round trip now to Albany, is that going to be an advantage?
I think it will be for everybody, to be honest. I think a lot of the NLL is a wear and tear league, and the less travel you can have. He might be, I don't know what he's doing, but he might be going home to sleep in his own bed tonight, and that's a luxury that you don't typically have. So, yeah, I think, you're not going to notice it for the first month, but I think you might as the season goes along, and they will for sure.